All right, we are live streaming. We're trying this first time. Remember, it's going to probably be a little bit rough, but we're going to try and get better over time. Ole Miss a 5-1 winner over Auburn in Game 1 of the College World Series. As Tom let me know, that's the first time Ole Miss has won a Game 1 in the College World Series since 1956. And fun fact, Eagle Day was on that team. So we have that going for us. But this is the Locked On Ole Miss podcast.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome to the show. Want to let you know that today's show is actually brought to you by Rock Auto. Understand that they have amazing selection, reliable low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and let them know we sent you. We've got Zach Blackerby that decided he was nice enough to come by, and I know that was a hard thing to take, but y'all just kind of ran into a buzzsaw.
Man, DeLucia. I mean, what an incredible outing. And had Lindsey Crosby, who hosts Locked On MLB Prospects, which DeLucia is definitely that. And so Lindsey had the report on him. And it's like, look, obviously Auburn needs long at-bats against this guy. But even with that, he can go well over 100 pitches. And boy, did he nail it, because he went well over 100 pitches. And Auburn swang at a lot of early stuff, which is not what they typically do. And DeLucia and Ole Miss took advantage of that.
Yeah, and then there were the fastball just looked like a frisbee at time, him throwing up there. It's like a two-seamer, I think they said with a 21-inch break. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's some high-level minor league stuff that we saw. So, I mean, props to Ole Miss. And look, I think the way that they won this was the way that they've kind of gotten hot during this last third of the season, and they still haven't lost in postseason play. And that's been by them becoming a pitching team. Steven, that's what you said in y'all's Omaha preview with some of the other Locked On hosts, and that's the truth. And sure, Ole Miss put up some runs early against Joseph Gonzalez, which honestly isn't something I was expecting to see. I thought it would have to come later once they got him out of the game. But, yeah, I mean, you nailed it in your preview. Ole Miss is a pitching team, and, yeah, they showed it. Man, they showed it on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's like something flipped about 4 weeks ago, and all of a sudden when DeLucia's went in there and Hunter Elliott, and like I said, people don't realize this, but Hunter Elliott is probably the ace of this staff. It's just that he's a true freshman. So him against Arkansas, it should be very, very good. So how do you think you guys match up against Stanford coming up in the next game?
I mean, Stanford didn't look good, and I'm not saying Auburn looked good against Ole Miss, but Stanford did not look good at all against Arkansas. And Arkansas is a red-hot team as well, and that's going to be a fun matchup, another SEC matchup that we'll get to see between Ole Miss and Arkansas. But, you know, Stanford came into this as a top 10 team in the country in home runs, and I think we kind of saw it in tonight's game, Steven. It's hard to hit home runs in Omaha. You don't see it a whole lot. And the fact that Ole Miss got a hold of one, barely, but still, I mean, you just got to nail that thing to get it out of the park. And so that's a big part of Stanford's offense, and that becomes almost a weakness at this point of the season.
Yeah, and what's the deal with Auburn players? I've heard of reckless abandon, but they were running into walls and into tarps, and there's like car crashes happen. And I get the want to, but I mean, come on, make a business decision, guys.
Yeah, especially the foul ball ones, right? You know, I'm fine with outfielders running past the warning track and all that. I'm fine with that. But yeah, some of these, our shortstop, Brody Moore, he was just kind of laying between the tarp and the wall there for a little bit. But, the effort's there, right? And I think you can say that for all 8 teams. You don't get to Omaha without all of your players, really just kind of willing to bust it and risk it all, right? But, hats off to this Ole Miss team. They came in and did what they needed to do, and they got hits when they needed to, and, I mean, really, really solid, timely pitching from their staff.
Yeah, and switching to Auburn, Ole Miss obviously pitched a heck of a game. Are you a little bit worried about Auburn's bats moving forward?
Well, there was some concern after the Corvallis Super Regional, because of the whole, they didn't score a whole lot of runs against Oregon State, but I kind of left that, was just like, Oregon State's a really good baseball team. Oregon State's better than a lot of the teams in Omaha. And so, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But, I don't know how you could watch Saturday night, and no disrespect to Dylan DeLucia. He pitched to Jim. But Auburn needs to have more timely hitting than what they had Saturday night if they're going to win against Stanford or win against any of these other 7 teams that are in Omaha. So, there's no question about it. Because on the other side of it, you look at a team like Ole Miss, and I'll put Notre Dame in there as well, these teams that are trending late, and their pitching is stepping up, and they're hitting. Maybe Ole Miss isn't scoring as much as they were at parts of earlier in the season, but, against better competition, you can count on Ole Miss. It seems like they score 5, 6, 7 runs a game, and their pitching's gotten better. Auburn can't say that. Auburn can't say what Ole Miss has said, and I think Saturday really proved that.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, Ole Miss could win the game, but they would need 7, 8, 9 runs. So if you could count on Ole Miss's offense to get you 6, that's 7, 8, 9. You probably weren't going to win the game. But since the pitching has turned over lately, that 6 runs can get you a win now. And to see those guys deal, it's impressive. It's one of the best 1-2 punches in the SEC right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think how different coaching staffs handle pitching decisions in Omaha is super, super fun, because there's no textbook way, this is the correct way to handle it. You have to throw your ace game 1. You have to put your best reliever in after him. Because Auburn went with their ace. They went with Gonzalez, who was always kind of their game 3 guy, but he was the best guy on their staff. But they went with their best reliever afterwards, and they really kind of threw him enough where it's like, I don't know how long you have to wait till you see him again with Carson Skipper. And that was interesting. Well, on the other side, you have Ole Miss handling business as they should, get the win, protect your lead, and move on. That's my biggest question, is why did Auburn do that?
Yeah, the closer was saved. I think if Stanford, the opportunity comes out, a 3-inning type save type situation would come out for that closer. But it was interesting seeing Carson Skipper for that long.
For so long, right?
Yeah.
There was just no. Correct me if I'm wrong. You watch it from the other side, and it's always funny how different fan bases react to things. And you guys may have been like, "Oh no, it could happen anytime." Auburn could storm back, and maybe you were thinking that. From the Auburn perspective, I was not. I was watching that game with there is no way in the world Auburn is going to score 6 runs. And I really felt that after the 3rd or 4th inning. Maybe you felt different, but that decision I thought was super, super interesting.
Yeah, the interesting decision to me was Ole Miss's decision to pitch to Sonny DeShera. I've been saying Barry Bonds rules all week. They should handle him with Barry Bonds rules, because Auburn's not the same team whenever he's not knocking all the runs. But Ole Miss did a good job against DeShera tonight.
Well, I was about to say, what do you say about the decision now?
Yeah, it absolutely worked out. There was one hit by DeShera, and it was basically off the end of the bat, one of those dying balls up the middle. But DeShera was able, DeLucia was able to pitch out of it, only gave up 1 run that inning, and they were just able to take care of business, honestly.
Well, and normally even when folks strike out Sonny DeShera, the thick king, normally it's still a 9-pitch at bat, and that just didn't happen. The whole lineup was aggressive, which is fine when it works, Steven, but it didn't work. And so when you're swinging, the 3rd pitch at the at-bat, and it's just ground out after ground out or pop-up after pop-up, it's just not and then I think DeLucia had a few 3 or 4 pitch at bats that were strikeouts. And it's just what are you doing? What in the world are you doing with a guy that can go that deep into a game? You have to force longer at bats, and Auburn didn't do it.
Yeah, I think 1 inning he had 15 pitches, and the rest were 8 and 9 pitches for DeLucia through 7. He did not throw the ball a lot. Hey, Zach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'll let you go mourn in peace and prepare for the trees from out west for game 2.
Hey, our boss, the founder of the Locked On Podcast Network, he's a Stanford tree. So I got to go talk smack throughout the day tomorrow. So
all right, outstanding. Thank you very much, man. And
thanks, buddy.
we'll talk to you later.
Guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Congrats to y'all too. All right, Zach Blackerby right there with the Auburn Tiger perspective of what went on. Before we move on to our normal perspectives, all of our contributors and all that, I do want to let you know BetOnline is your number one source for all of your betting and sports information needs. Find all of the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's NHL playoffs and Major League Baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores, and BetOnline.net remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcast, and news this season. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all of your favorite sporting events, including MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. We talk all the time. Ole Miss is favored by 21.5 week one against Troy, and they are predicted to win 7.5 games in the regular season. If you disagree, go to betonline.net and you can do something about it. So that's pretty cool. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right. We are going to bring our normal crew in. Looks like we have lost Tom, but maybe he will come back in and we will handle that. Guys, welcome to the broadcast, the live stream. We've made it.
Yeah. Pretty exciting stuff after tonight, right? Dylan DeLucia pitched a heck of a game, and, the Rebels did what they had to do. They had to take game one, and, we were able to protect the bullpen. And so, we're set up pretty good for Monday, and I can't wait to take on the Hogs.
Okay, Cara, what did you notice tonight? What were your impressions of this ball game?
Oh my gosh, we started out hot, and we just never let it go. I will not lie, my anxiety during games got the best of me, and I was like, I don't know what Bianco said, but it worked. And but I had a little bit of nervous there. Those 2 pop-ups saved my life, but man, we're just on fire right now. I'm super excited for Arkansas. I think that's kind of the road to the championship. I think is through there right now. I think they're probably the favorite, but this team has come against a ton of odds. So,
what about you, Derek? What were your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, I mean, we really come out and did what we need to do, right? We've kind of had the exact same game plan for the last couple of weeks with regionals and super regionals. We got to have good starting pitching, and we didn't get deep into that bullpen again. We brought in Josh Mallett, and he got the final 4 outs for us. DeLucia was really good for us tonight. He went 7 2/3. Just really pitched his tail off. He really grinded through it, got in some trouble here and there, and kind of like Cara said, might come out there when he had 2 on, and it was either 1 or no outs. I can't remember, but I was kind of thinking he would pull him then, and that kind of lit a fire on him a little bit, and he was able to get those last couple outs, get us into the 8th inning, get the first out there, and then we finally brought Mallets in then, and I've been saying, and me and you both, Steven, about Josh Mallett. He's, as far as the best pitch on our team, his slider is probably the best pitch on this entire team. I mean, it's unbelievable to see it. And he threw it for strikes, and he threw it out of the zone, got some guys to chase. His fastball tonight, I thought, had a lot of really, really good sink on it that I hadn't seen before this year. I had a couple buddies over tonight, and I was telling one of them, after one of them, it dropped, it seemed like 6 inches, and I thought, oh, that slider. And then, you look up, it's 94 miles an hour again, and I thought, oh my God, that fastball he's throwing has so much movement on it. It's really hard to barrel him up right now, and he didn't throw a lot of pitches. I'm sure he'll be good to go Monday night for us. We did exactly what we needed to today. We needed DeLucia to get us deep in the game. We were able to score runs, get the big hits when we needed to, and we saved the bullpen. And that's kind of what you got to do in this kind of regional format that we're in right now.
Yes, Tom, what were your impressions of the game?
Dude, I was just glad we won, man.
That's why we brought you on, Tom.
Yeah,
that kind of analysis.
Yeah, I'm thrilled, man. I'm thrilled. I just basically some of the stuff that's already been shared. The pitching was outstanding. I thought Graham was really good. I think he was like 3 for 4. That's pretty impressive. Of course, the captain, had that nice little pickoff move there. I think it was the
Great
7th
tag.
or 8th inning. Yeah, that was amazing. And like the commentators were saying, he positioned himself where the guy just really couldn't get back. So, that's just good baseball. And I'm looking forward to seeing Elliott pitch in the next game. That kid just seems like he gets better and better every game. And we haven't used BJ yet. Mallett's look like Derek was saying, Mallett's, he's just got some good stuff, man. He's just got some real good pitches. So, no, I loved all of it. I about had a heart attack 3 or 4 times, but that's typical of a mid-50s Ole Miss fan. You get used to it after a while, but
Okay. At what point, Cara, did you kind of take the foot off the gas? If we're talking about heart attacks and all of that, at what point did you just kind of breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief?
You never did.
Never. So I'm extremely superstitious. Derek gives me, I need beta blockers to talk to him during this game so we talk every game and we kind of balance each other in this, and we've decided this is a good level and where we are of for the season, because I am so superstitious. And if somebody's like, oh, we're going to win, we're taking this, I'm like, oh my God, please stop. Please stop talking. I am that person that if you say something about a no-hitter, I will find you and we will have words. I never, even during the game, I was like, Derek, when they started to come back they were down 2, I was like, Derek, I swear I will find you and I will punch you. I swear. So, no, I don't until the game's over. I was born into Ole Miss, so I've seen us drop a few for the years, and so I never feel comfortable until it's over.
Yeah, Joey Freeman talks about how about that pickoff at first base. I mean, that was quite amazing, wasn't it, Derek? That the foot position and everything, the Hayden Dunhurst and all of that tag was. I don't want to say team of destiny, but that is he wasn't trying to do that right off. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, well, Steve, you don't have to say team of destiny. I actually brought that up last week, so I'll say it for you again. This is a team of destiny, okay? And I know how much that makes Cara cringe right now, thinking that somebody is so confident in an Ole Miss team that we're going to go ahead and win. But that's just the way it is right now. Hayden is, as far as talent goes, the best defensive catcher in the country. We actually talked about it here earlier tonight. He had his struggles earlier in the year, as far as being able to frame, receive. He had pass ball problems and stuff like that, and actually had some throwing errors earlier in the year. He's really cleaned that up here in the last month, and it really turned around when he was able to start hitting the ball a little bit. If you get to the plate and you start having some success, it kind of translates to defense too. And you kind of saw that with Hayden, in the last month. And that was a really good play. He saw the guy a little too far off first base. He made a good throw, threw it to the back of the bag, just like he's supposed to do. And Tim got it, and to Tim's credit, made a really, really good tag right there. And that was a really big play for us, and was able to get out of the inning. And, they went through the whole review and all those shenanigans, but it wasn't even close. Hayden is a super, super good defensive player. Right now he's playing as good as he has all year, and that's kind of what we expected coming into the year from him, he's that elite defensive catcher. You think of Cooper Johnson from a couple years ago, right? That's all they talked about with him, is how good he was defensively. And quite frankly, Hayden, as far as pop time and stuff like that, and throwing accuracy and arm strength, he's actually a little better than Cooper. And he's really starting to flash that right now. And man, what a heck of a time to do it too. This is the biggest time of year, and he's really showing what he can do for us right now.
All right, Tom.
I would also can I just say
ahead.
something real quick?
Yeah.
I would like to say though, Derek, for my superstition, you actually can't change. So just saying, like you actually, it might kill me, but you actually can't change. So
Oh,
you have
no,
to stay-
no.
Like you actually have to stay this positive light forever now. So
Yeah, and we do
Yeah,
this Monday
yeah.
night, so
Yeah,
she'll
yeah.
know.
Make absolutely no mistake. I will not change. I've actually started a thing right now. It's called Ribs for the Rebs. I'm 5-0 on the year when I make ribs during Rebel games, and so it's becoming an expensive superstition. But I'm gonna keep going. If I go broke for a national championship, then I'm fine with it. So I'm just gonna keep rolling with it.
I'll send you a check.
All right.
Okay, I'll sure take it.
Okay, before we take a break and move on to the next game and talk about that a little bit, I do have a question. Justin Bench struggled tonight, and TJ McCants occasionally struggles a little bit as well. Is there any concern there? We'll start with Cara. Is there any concern about those two moving forward?
I'm not concerned with McCants because we see a little bit of light there. He's starting to break through just a little bit. I mean, kid's had a stellar last 2 games, like in the clutch. So I'm not worried about McCants. Bench, I think they'll be fine. I think he'll make it there. Not too worried.
Okay.
Are you
How
happy,
about you?
Derek? That's positive. Are you happy?
Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah. I'm really not worried about Justin Bench at all. I mean, that's kind of been Mr. Consistent over the last 4 years for us, right? He's a senior on the team. When we moved into the leadoff spot, the offense kind of started clicking a little bit. He gets hit 50 times a year, so he's always going to be on base, but he's always going to hit 300 on top of that too. He's going to work the counts. He's not going to swing at bad balls. McCants is kind of a different story. I mean, you look at him over these his first 2 years here in Oxford, and you see the upside with him, right? You see the big athletic kid out there in center field that can run down absolutely anything hit his way. And, when he really gets a hold of something, I mean, he can really swing the bat. But right now he's having such a tough time with that slider. They messed up today and threw him a fastball, and he was able to get an RBI out of it, and maybe, something like that is just all it takes to get a baseball player going, right? I mean, the first 2 times he struck out, slider, and then he strikes out, and then they come back with fastball, and he's able, in a big situation, to get a big hit for us. But in this ballpark, I think it's really important for him to be in center field for us because of how big of a ballpark it is, right? I mean, you need somebody that can get out there and can run down these balls. I actually expected us to go with him in center, Bench in right, and Garrett Wood at third. But then again, Mike Bianco's won a hell of a lot more baseball games than I have, and it sure enough worked out for him tonight. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely earned another start. Hopefully the thumb's healthy, and if he ever gets to swinging the bat like he did earlier in the year, then he can be a really, really big asset for us with the defense he brings us in center field in that ballpark.
Okay, Tom, what are your thoughts on that?
What on McCants and Bench?
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it. I think they're going to come through. I was talking to my, like we've said before, in the job I work in, it's predominantly state grads. I'm in the engineering field, and I was talking to one of my state fan buddies or state grad buddies, and he said, you guys have the feel like we did last year. He said, you're everything's coming together. Everything came together in the regional. Everything came together in the super. You've got good pitching. He said, so I'm kind of starting to believe that we are a team of destiny. I really do.
There's no doubt about it.
I hate to upset the apple cart, but there's just so many positive things going on right now. I mean, we've won our last 6 ball games, and it hasn't even been close. We've been so dominant.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. Real quick, let me let you know about this. Rock Auto. I need to actually click on that. This episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts you need. Why endure the often pointless and seemingly intimidating questioning Is your Odyssey an LX or an EX? And wait while the person behind the counter orders the parts on their computer, choosing only the brand their warehouse happens to carry. You have computers with access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. So this is what you can do. You can save time and money when using Rock Auto. It's a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for 20 years. Their prices are reliably low for every customer. So go explore their easy-to-use website today to find the solution to your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. So, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So do us a favor, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell for notifications when we release a new video, which happens quite frequently, and of course upvote the video itself. We would appreciate it. Also on iTunes, rate and review us. Give us a 5-star review. You can say whatever you want to. You can say I'm an idiot, but I have great guests, and I would probably agree with you. But give us a 5-star review on there. So now we move on to Monday. Start talking about Monday. For what is the most important baseball game in modern Ole Miss baseball history. There's no getting around this. We have never played a game that has met the SEC championships, everything. Nothing has hit this level. I'm going to start with Derek. Talk about this game and what this game means.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like you say, this is the biggest game in our program's history right now. It's if you sit there and take the approach of this is another regional, well, you want to go 2-0 because that means somebody's got to come all the way through a loser's bracket and beat you twice to keep you out of a chance from winning a national championship at this point. And quite frankly, with Hunter Elliott on the mound, the way he's pitching right now, and I mean, good Lord, B.J. Johnson hasn't pitched Brandon Johnson hasn't pitched in 2 weeks right now. He's as fresh as can be. Doherty's fresh. I mean, we've got all the bullpen arms available. They just threw Connor Nolan. He pitched a heck of a game, but he's not going to be available for Monday. So I definitely think we're going to be favored. I think we have the leg up. We definitely have the best pitcher in this matchup. I think you actually alluded to it earlier with Zach that, as far as stuff goes, Hunter Elliott really is our ace. Like he's not the guy that gets the ball the first game of every series because of how tough Dylan DeLucia is. But as far as his stuff goes, I mean, it's probably the best on the team from a starter standpoint. And, even when we played in Fayetteville this year, you can go back and look at 2, 3, maybe 4 plays and say, we probably should have swept them up there. And that's including the game with Connor Nolan because if I'm not mistaken, we actually beat them that Friday night, the night he ended up pitching. So, I think we got the leg up. We're playing so well right now. It's kind of hard to think that anything's going to derail this train. I'm as confident as anybody right now. I know Cara hates to hear it. I'm sure Tom hates to hear it. With his 50-plus years of experience chasing the Ole Miss Rebels right now. I've got 35 in me right now, and quite frankly, I've always not been this confident. And but that kind of speaks volumes to the way this team has played and kind of the energy they put out to the fans and all. It really is different this year, and I really believe it. Hunter's going to go out and he's going to shove. I mean, he's going to give us 6 or 7 innings. Doherty is going to come in and he's going to bridge it to Brandon Johnson, and we're going to get that win Monday, and then we're going to wake up Wednesday, and we're going to be one way a win from playing from a national title. And then I'm going to go to work Thursday, and I'm going to get done with that. And as soon as I get off, I'm getting in my car and I'm headed to Omaha because I'm going to go watch us win a ring.
Okay, are you at least going to use your phone to get on our postgame show?
Yeah. If you want me to do that, that actually
would be really cool if you were in the stadium at
Omaha.
Yeah, if you're in the stadium in Omaha, it actually would be pretty cool. You know,
Dude,
you
I
could do that.
100% will FaceTime or whatever from that stadium in Omaha. But I guarantee you, if we're playing the best 2 out of 3 to win national championship, there's no way I could possibly miss that. I'm getting up and I'm driving over there, and I'm going to watch us do it, because there's not a doubt in my mind, I swear there's not, that we are going to win a national championship this year.
Yeah, that's really good. Cara, what are your thoughts?
Okay, gonna have a little drink real quick. Just gonna internalize Derek here real quick. So like I said, I think really the big thing here is Arkansas's hot. A lot of people are saying Oklahoma's hot, and I'm not taking away from them, but A&M pitching is always suspect. I think A&M pitching finally showed up, the real one. So I don't know if I give Oklahoma enough credit there. Sorry, Oklahoma fans. I doubt you're here, but if you are, sorry, truth hurts. I will say for Arkansas, I did think Stanford would eventually fold. I just kind of hoped it was to us. But I think if we can get past Arkansas, and I do agree, I think Hunter Elliott's on fire. I think this team is on fire. They're set in their mind that they can do this, and that's really hard to beat. So I also just bank on the fact that Arkansas chokes a lot. So you know what? I'm very optimistic, and I think I think our mindset right now is just going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. What about you, Tom?
Hey, I just want Derek to make sure that if he does go to Omaha, that he brings a grill with him. And
I'm going to Omaha.
Keep making those ribs, man.
No,
you got to keep making those ribs, man. If we're winning and you're making ribs, keep making them, man.
Yeah.
And
you're gonna have to bring the ribs.
There's gonna be plenty of ribs.
Yeah, barbecue some ribs, bro. I'm telling you.
Right.
But I think I don't know, man. I just have a different feeling. I really do. I have a different feeling. It's kind of like, and this isn't nearly as big as the college World Series, but this year when I was at the LSU game, the LSU Ole Miss football game, and they went up 7-0, and then they went down the field and we're about to score again. We intercepted the ball. I've got that same feeling that there's an Ole Miss butt whooping about to happen, and I was right then. So hopefully I'm right this time. But yeah, if we can get past Arkansas Monday, we're in the driver's seat. I think it'll probably be, if we get to that point and we win our side, I think it'll be us and Notre Dame for the national championship.
Yeah, that would be something to see. Okay, Derek, what do you expect from Monday's game? Tell me that one thing that we need to know about Monday's game.
I mean, it's kind of following the same game plan we've done, for the last, like we've said, month and a half, 2 months, or whatever it is at this point. I mean, we've been pitching so good right now. Hunter Elliott's going to go out there. He's going to throw that incredible fastball that only tops out 89, 90 miles an hour, but for some reason nobody can catch up to. It's a lot like Chuck James, right? I don't know if any of y'all remember Chuck James, the former Braves pitcher, but he threw the ball 88, 89, 90 miles an hour, and he got so many swings and misses with his fastball because of how heavy it is and the high spin rate it has. That's kind of what you get with Hunter Elliott, and his breaking ball is so good too. I mean, I don't see any way with the way we're playing right now, and I know Ole Miss fans hate hearing this kind of stuff right now from me, but I mean, we are so good. I mean, there is literally not a flaw in our entire team. We've got starters that are going 6, 7, 8 innings, and we have multiple bullpen arms that we're not even seeing right now. We haven't seen Mason Nichols in 2 weeks. Haven't seen Brandon Johnson in 2 weeks. I mean, we just come out and we throw our starters out there, and then we bring in Josh Mallett and Doherty, and then the game's over with. The offense is really starting to click right now. It really is incredible. This is kind of what we expected all year long. And as disappointing as it was all year long, kind of following this team, right? You know, just sitting there every weekend thinking, all right, well, you know, we can take 2 out of 3 from this team, 2 out of 3 from this team, and we end up winning 1 or getting swept or whatever it was. You know, they've really turned it around. They've really started playing their potential, and my God, I mean, just what a time for it to happen. And you know, I mean, this really is a team of destiny. I know people hate hearing it, and I'm always a superstitious Ole Miss fan. I always was this entire year leading up to it. I guess I just kind of talked them up all year on this podcast. I kind of had to speak it into existence that we're still going to do it. We're still going to do it. And, you know, it's worked out. So being superstitious never did. So I'm just going to go cocky and confident and hope that works out for us this year.
All right. Cara, what have you got?
So I just want to say one of my biggest expectations, I hope we keep the same energy with the fans that are there and keep making it a home game for that team. I mean, gosh, you could hear the fans, man, that were there. Like, Hottie Toddy was never clearer on TV ever than it was tonight. Like, amazing job by the people who traveled there. Never a dull moment. They were constantly behind that team. So I'd love to keep seeing that energy. I hope the guys keep that chip on their shoulder and keep the same energy going into this game. If everyone knows, we never have an easy game against Arkansas. It doesn't matter. It's always bizarre. But I just hope they keep the same energy, and I hope our fans keep the same energy and just keep seeing that going.
All right, Tom, what you got? What kind of pearls of wisdom can you drop for us?
I don't know. I can't top those two, but I would echo Cara. If you make it as much of a home field advantage as you can, because there's going to be a lot of folks calling the Hogs there too. So we've got to pull our weight. But I just, you know, I'm just starting to kind of feel like Derek that this is a team of destiny. I mean, wouldn't it be wonderful? We've always had the stigma in baseball of the team that wilts in the super regionals, you know, and we're always great during the season, but we can't finish. And we had problems during the season, and you know, we had a losing record in the SEC in the regular season. But now's the time to be hot. You know, right. A lot of people say we were the last people in the tournament. But none of that matters. Now's the time to be hot, and this team is on fire.
Yeah, you know what they call the person that graduates last from their class in medical school?
Yeah, doctor.
Doctor, exactly.
That's exactly right.
So, is there anything that we need to know moving into Monday? Derek, you can go ahead and start. Give us something we should know, something we should think about. Actually, I'll start. I said earlier, the last time Ole Miss won a game 1 was 1956, and Eagle Day was on that team. So, go ahead, Derek.
Okay, well, I don't have anything near that far back. But what I can tell you is that come Monday, I mean, this is kind of like we talked about, the biggest game in the history of Ole Miss right now. You know, it's you've got to get in that catbird seat right now, you know, and it's a team we're familiar with. You know, I assume they're throwing their number 2 starter just like they did earlier in the year. You know, it's a team we're familiar with. We should be able to hit them. We should know what they're throwing at us right now. But with the fresh bullpen and all that, I mean, we got to go out there and we've got to win this game. You know, you don't want to battle through the losers bracket. Every game you win is another day off, and if you get another day off, then come the championship game or this regional championship, as I call it, not the College World Series championship, obviously, but you know that's potential for Dylan DeLucia to come back and actually pitch without having to use a third starter right now with all the days off. If you keep winning, and that's a really big deal right now. You know, but if we don't keep using our bullpen the way we're doing right now, you know, if Hunter Elliott goes out and goes 7-8 innings and we bring in Jack Doherty to, you know, close out the last few outs, then, you know, you've got an entire bullpen game you can throw out there, you know, and try to get try to advance to the National Championship Series and save DeLucia for that. So it'll be real interesting how Mike figures all that out, you know, but that's on him. Like I said, he's won a heck of a lot more baseball games than I ever have because I've never won a single one. I've watched I've watched just a few. I've listened to a heck of a lot because I don't have internet, so I don't get to watch a whole lot of baseball games. But I listen to DK bring a heck of a lot of them home for me. So it's just a really big game. You know, you want to stay in that winner's bracket. You don't want to have to play on Tuesday and then again on Wednesday and try to battle your way back, try to get in that national championship. Just let Hunter Elliott go out there, let him shove for 7 innings, bring in Brandon Johnson, Jack Doherty, those guys, and end that thing, and then just go and have to win one more to get to Saturday.
Yeah. What about you, Cara?
I'm just going to echo the same thing. I really think pitching is key. As we know, Arkansas has some hitters. I think also like our lineup's pretty hot, so I'm not too worried about these guys right now. But I think if Hunter Elliott can keep going and he can get about 7 innings in, keep our bullpen fresh, I really agree with Derek there.
Okay. What about you, Tom?
Hey, I'm all in with Derek, man. I and Cara too. If Elliott can have a game like he's had, you know, in the past, you know, if he can throw like he did in the regionals and in the super, we're going to be sitting in the catbird seat. We're going to be 2-0 in our division, and we're going to be playing the guys that are going through the losers bracket. And when you go through the losers bracket, you eat up your pitching, you eat up your bullpen. And fresh arms is what does it. That's what did it for State last year. They had fresh arms.
Yeah.
You know, they got to pitch their ace multiple times of Bednar, and that's kind of what did it for them. So if we get that same kind of luck, if you want to call it, or just, you know, if we win this next game, that sets us up for us being really fresh, like Derek said. I think that's the key, is that you know, we have to have fresh arms, especially when you get into the national championship, best 2 out of 3.
Yeah. Yeah, and this has been Omaha Live. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you tune in Monday night, we'll be back here doing it again. So definitely enjoy that. You got Derek, you got Tom, you've got Cara with all their unique perspectives. And thank y'all very much for joining us tonight, and everybody tuning in. Thank you for being so active in the chat. And I'm sure this was a lot of fun, but, you know, tell a friend, make the audience Monday even bigger. Anyway, but for Cara, for Derek, for Tom, I'm Steven Willis. This has been Omaha Live.
Howdy toddy, folks.
Hotty toddy.
Howdy, howdy.
Hotty toddy.